This is transfer. Transfer is Lese's approach to a Doppler spatializer audio plugin. At the core of transfer lies its ability to spatialize sounds. The orange point here represents the target. As I move around the target, the blue point follows it, with the blue point being the sound's actual position. The speed at which the point moves around can be adjusted by changing the smoothing value here. And the way that smoothing occurs can be changed as well by toggling the mode button to the side of it. This swaps it from a smooth movement to constant movement, and the constant movement is controlled by adjusting another speed value. The distance value here represents the total area that the sound source is allowed to move inside of. The distance value here represents the total area that the sound source is allowed to move inside of. When in sphere mode, this represents a distance that exists all around the listener in orbital sense. However, when we click the square button here, we enter a different kind of control mode, the plane mode, which treats positioning on a plane all around the listener as opposed to an orbital sphere. In transfer, you can toggle if a few of the different processing steps occur. Clicking here disables Doppler shifting. Clicking this disables distance-based sound dampening. And clicking this switches it between a conventional stereo spatialization mode, which you're listening to now, over to a more advanced binaural spatializer that tricks the listener into thinking that sound is coming from a specific direction. Also toggle the perceptual separation and spreading that occurs with the two controls here. Separation makes the signal wider, and spreading is a binaural-only effect that reduces the listener's ability to localize the sound in a specific direction. Lastly, a new feature released in Transfer 1.2 introduced the Reflections update, which leverages Lese's impulse engine to generate early and late reflections to complement the space. You can enter the controls menu for the reflections here, but the menu is currently disabled because the reflections toggle isn't enabled. Now we can see the reflection controls more clearly. The size control on the left determines the dimensions of the space around the user, and clicking the size sync button here makes the size of the space match with the distance value on the main control menu. Currently, only the early reflections are turned on. Let's see what the late reflections sound like. Both the early and late reflections can be mixed with the volume controls here. Finally, the room model here determines which kind of space the reflection system is aiming to simulate. Spaces like wood room, curtains, and soundproof chamber offer quiet reflections and short reverb tails, while models like stone cellar and reverb room offer much more noticeable early reflections, as well as longer reverb tails.